Hi lovely viewers and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to see how the month of July is going to turn out for you. I'm going to discuss all the predictions for the world at large regarding whatever transits are taking place in July and how it's going to affect the world events and politics. And also, after doing that, we are going to discuss personalized predictions for all of the zodiac signs to figure out how the month of July is going to turn out for you. If you're interested to know more, then keep watching further and please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that I can keep bringing you further interesting astrology content. Moving straight into the planetary transits that are happening in July, as seen on the screen, major transits that are happening in July, and we'll just basically see how this is going to affect and impact the world events on a political level, on a geographical level, and how the events of world are going to unfold because of these kind of planetary transits that are taking place in July. Firstly, in the transits, we see that Mercury is transiting into Gemini on 2nd of July 2022. And it is also then moving into the next sign of Cancer by 17 July 2022. Right? So Mercury is a fast moving planet, so its transits are generally faster and quicker than the other slow moving planets, let's say like Saturn or Jupiter or even Rahu and Ketu, whose transit seems to be for a longer period of time. It's not less than, let's say, 18-month period or a 1-year period or something like that. It might change its direction from a retrograde from one sign to another, but usually it tends to stay in one sign for a longer period of time. So that is the first thing. We also see that Mercury is going to conjunct Venus, that is going to change its sign to Gemini on 13th of July 2022. After this, we also see that when Mercury has changed its sign, just before that, Sun also transits into the sign of Cancer. And again, these two planets, which is Sun and Mercury, conjunct in the sign of Cancer, just like Mercury and Venus were conjuncting before in the sign of Gemini. So these are the main sort of transitions that are taking place in the transits. But two of the most pivotal transits that are happening, Saturn is becoming retrograde, which it already was, but it's changing its sign to Capricorn, and Jupiter is becoming retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Now, what is extremely pivotal here is that Saturn and its retrograde transit in Capricorn is directly aspecting the Sun's transit in Cancer. Because Capricorn and Cancer are the opposite ends of an astrological axis, basically meaning that they're opposite signs, which is on the 4-10 axis, because Cancer is the 4th zodiac sign and Capricorn is the 10th zodiac sign, right? So in astrology, Sun and Saturn are not friendly planets, they are enemy planets. And this is because there's a mythology that goes, Sun was actually the father of Saturn, but Saturn is Sun's illegitimate son because he was conceived by Chaya, who was like a shadow which was created by the wife of Sun because she was not able to bear the heat that the sun was emanating. Hence, Saturn was his illegitimate son. And because of this reason, there's always a sort of enemy relationship between Sun and Saturn. Now, because Sun and Saturn are getting aspected here, and this is a direct aspect. So what does a direct aspect mean? Which is that Sun is literally 7 places away from Saturn and Saturn is 7 places away from Sun. This is a mutual aspect on each other. Also because Saturn is sort of retrograde and it's in its own sign of Capricorn, which makes it even more powerful. On the other hand, we see that Sun being transiting in the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which is another luminary, but it's not exactly the most comfortable position for the Sun to be in, right? So we see that already Saturn has an upper hand here. What does this basically mean for the world at large and even for personalized predictions? So Sun represents your soul. It represents your personality. It represents also the leader of the government, right? And Saturn, on the other hand, represents karma. It represents karmic lessons. It represents your fears. It also represents the lower rank of people, Now, not going into the very draconic way of thinking, but Saturn would basically, in today's world, show you people like administrative workers or people who basically carry out instructions or the motives of the government and the leader of the government, right? So it's a very subordinate and general sort of relationship. Sun basically giving orders to Saturn, for Saturn to then have to, execute those orders. Now, why this gets tricky here when it comes to the world events at large and how world politics is going to be impacted because of this transit, here we see that there is a burden on the leader of the government or the government itself in order to make sure subordinates have to carry out their instructions, are able to do so to its best efforts. The dynamic we can see here is that the governments are going to be under immense pressure to be able to deliver and to be able to send the orders that can actually be executed to its best effect, so that the people or the general public, which is the beneficiary for those orders, get actually benefit implementation of those orders. We can see that a lot of governments and their leaders are coming under fire because of discrepancies in their behavior or political propaganda that is happening, which is causing them to prove their majority. This we can clearly see recently when the Maharashtra CM was ordered to, show his majority with the floor test. But as I'm recording this video, we've already seen CM Thackeray resign from his post as Maharashtra CM, and Ecuador is having to deal with protests happening against its administration and having to implement emergency. So we see all these sort of similar chain of events that are happening. People are not satisfied with how the government is being led. That is causing a pressure on the government to have to imply policies and changes that they are feeling right now pressured by the public's idea and having to execute them through their subordinates. So there's this sort of tension that is happening. On the other hand, we also see, though this transit is not happening this month, but it will be continuing this month, which is Mars and Rahu's conjunction in the sign of Aries. And I have made a detailed video about what the world predictions and even the personalized predictions for this is going to be like. Information regarding how the wars in the world are going to be impacted by this transit and how the military and other sort of workings of the government being impacted and how violence is going to arise and protests and stuff like that. If you're interested to watch that, on the right hand side of your video screen, a pop-up appear. Please go to that video once you're finished with this one, and you can also check that one out. It's a really informative video where you can understand how the world events are right now shaping up and will be shaping up because of this significant transit of Mars and Rahu being conjunct in the sign of Aries. This is like the gist of how the world at large, being politics or just being international relations, are going to be affected on the basis of the monthly transits and the planetary transits that are happening right now. We will now move how these transits are going to impact your personal life, and we will start out the personalized predictions for all zodiac signs by starting off with the first zodiac sign of Aries. So starting off with predictions for Aries for the month of July, we can clearly see that the very first thing is that Mars and Rahu is present in your first house, right? And this is a great energy in your first house of self. So we can clearly see that your focus this month especially is completely going to be on you, making your own appearance better, maybe indulging more with your health by doing more exercise, physical activity, and just being more active in general. But you have to also be careful regarding your anger, because that is also something that would be aggravated during this period. And this is also further corroborated by the Ketu's transit through your 7th house. So basically your relationships, be it romantic or business relationships, are not going to be as easy to deal with as it would be to control your own actions and work on yourself. There's a great energy in this month for you to work upon yourself and, just nourish yourself at this point. So that is there. Another thing which we can see that Venus being present in your 3rd house shows that you might actually be breaking out of your shell in a certain way and communicating more with people and loving to communicate and network more with people. Especially this can happen maybe even over social media, and you can actually start some sort of romantic alliance on any dating apps, social dating apps and internet dating apps basically. And that is a great energy when even your Mercury is conjunct with the Venus, so you can have a lot of fun with actually indulging with people, having a conversation, and maybe some sort of love interest can also be found during these expeditions, whatever you would like to call it. And then we see that the Mercury is moving with Sun in your fourth house. So here we can clearly see that you take a little bit of a backseat on your fun and flirty vibe that you're starting off with in the month of July. And I think your focus slightly shifts to your home and family and those sort of stuff, and that is where your energy and sort of interest then needs to be kept, because there's some sort of importance regarding your personal life when it comes to your family and your home that needs your attention at this point. And also because you are having your retrograde Saturn and the Sun have this mutual aspect, so you're going to feel the sort of responsibility towards acting in some sort of way for your family and for your home, maybe protection of some sort. So that is a kind of energy that I can see you having to cultivate during the month of July. Also because the Saturn is getting retrograde in your 10th house, and Saturn itself is like a karaka or a significator of the 10th house, and the 10th house being all about your work and your professional life. I see some sort of disturbances in your professional life. Like there can be some sort of backseat of interest that you take during this period of time. And Saturn's retrograde, as like this Saturn retrograde in Capricorn, is going to go on for a long time. So there can be some sort of crisis that you might be feeling at work, wherein maybe even you might not be satisfied with the sort of leadership you have at work, and some sort of discontentment with the sort of work that you're doing, the sort of responsibilities that are set up upon you even at work. So there can be this huge sort of push and pull regarding the responsibilities that you are being put under even at home, but more so at work, which is causing this sort of discontentment or sort of feeling of uneasiness regarding where you are professionally, and making you question your own professional directions. So that is another feeling that I can see coming from your retrograde Saturn transit. This is going to make you actually sit and contemplate regarding what work you're doing. Are you finding fulfillment in that work? How it is going to be. So it is a little challenging, but I think unless you find challenges, you don't have the opportunity for you to grow and move higher than whatever challenges are being set in your path. And because you have such a great focus on yourself, especially during this transit of Mars and Rahu in Aries, there's a lot of energy right now that you can actually focus on bettering yourself and moving out of a sticky situation if you feel that you're stuck somewhere in your profession. So that is a great sort of energy that I can feel in your chart at this point during the month of July. Also, what we can see is that your Jupiter is retrograding in the 12th house. So there can also be this sort of questioning of your own ideals, maybe even religious ideals to a certain extent, questioning your own identity, understanding those things. There's also a possibility of some sort of brush-in with I would say hospitalizations. And though your health seems to be fine, you have to be careful because Mars, as the planet of aggression and even injuries at times, being in your first house can sort of indicate like some sort of injuries happening to your head area or somewhere on your face. So there's a possible energy where you can actually have to go into getting I wouldn't say operated, necessarily, but some sort of visit to the hospital might be necessary right now, because of this transit happening. So you are prone to having injuries right now, so you need to be careful regarding that. All in all, the energy for the month of July for you seems really great on the context of you having a lot of energy and focus on your own self betterment, which is great. But you also need to be careful and just safeguarding yourself when it comes to any injuries, taking care of that, and as well as being patient with the kind of work upheavals or doubts that you're facing right now regarding all the responsibilities that are getting put up on you. So I hope you have a great month of July. If you would like to mention anything in the comment section regarding what you're feeling or how the vibe of the month is for you, then definitely sound off in the comment section, and I would love to know how the month of July turns out for you and what you're expecting out of it. So thanks for watching. For Taurus, for the month of July, the first thing I see is that your ascendant ruler, which is Venus, as the sign of Taurus is ruled by Venus. So what we see here is that your ascendant ruler has moved into the second house. And this is a great omen when it comes to actually maximizing on your financial security and your financial assets. It's a great omen for you to actually channelize your energy regarding that. And with Mercury also present there, this can also mean that some sort of, if you have some sort of business regarding that, that's also going to uptake, and it's going to have a very positive effect on your business. If it's relating to, some sort of finance and that sort of a realm, then that's going to uptake. Also, you might actually have a lot of conversation about your finances with your family. That's also a very good possibility of this sort of transit happening with the conjunction of Mercury and Venus in your second house. Also, I think you might be taking some sort of risks, or just being more experimentative with your finances, because Mercury in its own sign of Gemini can cause that sort of energy to also come. That is the first thing. Then moving on to Mercury, when it moves to Cancer with Sun also being there in your third house, again shows that, your communication and that energy of connecting with others over social media, actually sitting and discussing things which bring you sort of a soul fulfillment and something that you're really interested in, can become a possibility. So the same theme of maybe actually, it can be anything, but it could also be that, the financial thing and, actually having to connect with other people over social media, having to discuss that, figuring out how to go about it. That's a huge, that's a real possibility. So you're going to enjoy that part of communication and, that sort of thing during this month. You could also possibly take some sort of trips for leisure, which is to short distance travels. When we come to your retrograde Saturn being in the 9th house, I think you're going to evaluate if you have any plans of any higher education, and you were planning to actually travel abroad or travel a long distance for pursuing some sort of higher postgraduate degree or something of that sort. I think that sort of realm can get difficult for you right now, because Saturn being present in the 9th house can cause challenges for you to actually be able to materialize these sort of efforts to be able to study further. So that is one possibility. If you're not doing that, there's another possibility of you actually having this sort of conundrum or crisis regarding your own religious ideals, your religious identity, spirituality, and practices like meditation or whatever, things like this, like trying to come to terms with how you relate to these concepts, questioning these things. That can be a possibility as well. Also, if you had any plans of just traveling for fun to any destinations or whatever, that can also kind of get hindered right now. So these are the sort of possibilities that might arise with Saturn's retrograde transit through your 9th house. Also, we see that Ketu's transit, which is happening since the earlier part of the year, in your sixth house, can cause some sort of challenges regarding your work, feeling the sort of discontentment with your work, and not being able to maximize your productivity at work because of questioning something, not being able to really reconcile with the reality of how your work is right now. And this can also cause you some sort of challenges regarding maintaining a routine, be it for your health reasons. You might find it difficult to be able to follow that. And that energy gets catalyzed even more with the Mars's transit with Rahu in your 12th house. And I've made a separate video for this wherein I discuss the Mars and Rahu conjunction, and especially for all the signs. You can surely watch that. It will be linked in the description box. You can also find it in the suggested videos on the right hand side on the I button, right? So you can go on and watch that as well. But this energy can very well cause some sort of disturbances with your health, and may also cause you to have to visit a hospital because of the energy of the 12th house. So you need to be careful, especially regarding your health, and how maintaining a routine when it comes to your health needs to be your priority. So moving ahead, the Jupiter's retrograde transit through your 11th house. So Jupiter is actually the lord of your 11th house, and having its transit in your 11th house would surely be able to, you would have been feeling this sort of energy of being able to have a really good expanding your network circle, expanding your friendship circle, being able to catalyze and exponentially be able to increase your earnings and your profits. So this sort of energy was possible. But I think with the retrograde Jupiter coming into force right now and this energy, there is some sort of challenges that you might feel with being able to actually implement that sort of profit that you would want to have from your earnings. And that energy can be circled back into the beginning of the prediction where I was discussing that, Venus and Mercury being there, and you having to actually look at your finances and being able to actually work on maximizing your profits. So I think the monetary aspect is a huge thing in the month of July, especially. So that is something that you could be dealing with. The sort of struggle to be able to maximize your profits, save your be able to expand on your savings, monetary savings, and financial stability, stuff like that. Some sort of challenges when it comes to being able to, work on your network circle, expanding on that, being able to actually receive any luck or sort of help from them might be a little challenging at this point. So this is the whole energy of your month of July. I hope it turns out well for you. Please be careful regarding your health, because there's a huge energy where some sort of instance regarding your health can come up. I hope you keep well, and wishing you a good month ahead. If you have anything that you would like to discuss regarding your month of July, if you're feeling any energies of this sort of the prediction that I have given you, then please sound off in the comments, and I would love to know what are your aspirations for your month of July, or how you would like it to turn out. And thanks for watching. For Gemini, predictions for how your month of July is going to turn out. First thing I can clearly see is that your ascendant lord, which is Mercury, as you are Gemini, is right now sitting in your first house itself, which is a great thing because it basically vitalizes your own self. It kind of protects your self, your whole being, like your personality, your body, and even gives you this sense of surge in having fun, because the energy of Mercury is all about having fun, right? And getting to learn more. So I think this month you will have this sort of, in the beginning, the sort of energy and curiosity about learning more, maybe about yourself, about your body, something of that sort. Maybe especially because Venus is conjunct in your first house, people can really be picking up on your vibe, because you might appear extremely attractive to other people. You might feel extremely attractive during this month. You have a great conjunction of two benefic planets of Mercury and Venus right now happening through your first house in the beginning part of the month, especially. So that is a great energy. You might feel revitalized. You might feel like I am that person, that person, like just feel great about yourself. So I think that is the energy that I see in the beginning part of the month in July for you. Then as we go on to the Mercury and Sun's conjunction in the transit in your second house, this can show that your speech especially is going to be quite authoritative. People are going to take notice of you when you speak. You're going to capture people's attention as you speak. So your speech is going to be extremely attractive to people. They're going to listen to it, what you have to say. So if you have any presentations or any sort of, those sort of things coming up where you're going to be on the center stage and people have to listen to you, this is going to turn out really well. And there's also energy of some sort of let's say some sort of monetary benefit with Saturn right now retrograding through your 8th house. There's some sort of change, unexpected change, sudden events that are taking place which you sort of really didn't expect. Something that you might actually even fear might be coming true because of a very sudden sort of event taking place. And that is a huge possibility. Also, like this sort of energy of Saturn being retrograde in your 8th house can have this sort of feeling where even though you are feeling like yourself right now in the beginning of the month, but there is some sort of discrepancy or some sort of, let's say, doubt on behalf of your intimacy, your potential to intimacy, and your sexual behavior in general. Also, that is amplified because Ketu is in your 5th house of romance. So you might not be really feeling like it, actually indulging in some sort of romantic alliance and, pursuing any sort of intimate relations. So that might be a little bit of a hindrance. You might kind of just be concentrating on yourself at this point. Also, because Mars and Rahu are right now transiting through your 11th house, I can see that your focus sort of is not on partnerships per se and all that jazz, be it love, romance, intimacy, but it's more so relating to how you are conducting yourself and your friends and your network circle and the communication you have with those people. So I think that is something that really revitalizes a Gemini, the communication conversations with their network circle. So I think that is like your focus right now, and also expanding on and maximizing your monetary benefits and your profits can be something that you can also be right now extremely aligned with. Another energy that I see is your Jupiter being retrograde in your 10th house of career. So this can mean like you might have been feeling lucky, unusually lucky that, okay, things are going my way with my profession and how I'm being perceived at work, which would have been positively, but you can feel some sort of challenges now regarding that sort of feeling that you were getting before. So you might feel that you aren't becoming as lucky, or it's not as easy to be in the good books of people, maybe your superiors. So there can be this sort of a little bit of this energy happening, and yeah, like you can feel a very weird sort of expansion of your work responsibilities, how that interaction happens with your superiors, and that sort of a equation can also come about. So I think all in all, the month for you seems really positive. You just need to focus on bettering yourself and focusing on what brings you joy. And even if certain things don't align with where you are at this point, the month in general seems great for you. I hope you have a great month ahead. And if you have anything that you would like to discuss about what your aspirations for the month of July are, or anything that resonates with you regarding this prediction, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. And thank you for watching. For Cancer, how the month of July is going to turn out for you, the first thing I can see is that Sun is right now transiting through your sign of Cancer, which is a great thing. So happy birthday to all the Cancerians out there. I hope you have a great month and a great year ahead. So Sun being in your first house, which is where it finds the maximum sort of energy and, vitality, can show that this month, also because it's your birthday, so like this energy completely coincides with that. Like you can feel especially geared towards enjoying, following your interests, having fun, and that is going to really satisfy your soul. Though you are this sort of a homebody, you don't really feel like, oh, I'm this person who can, have fun in whatever sense of the normal world we have fun these days. But I think you're going to transgress that sort of a feeling that you have as a homebody and, actually venture out, have fun, enjoy, sort of communicate, have a soiree, move around, and just communicate with people, have fun. So it's a great energy for your birthday month. Completely envious, wonderful thing. And then we also see that Mercury and Venus is in the beginning of the month in your 12th house. So this can mean actually something along the lines of, I would say you would there's some sort of monetary loss. Now, this cannot exactly be loss, but you might actually be buying things for your birthday, right? So you might actually be expending on, let's say, maybe your plans for if you want to travel somewhere, you want to take a small vacation on your birthday or something like that. And then that is what catalyzes the loss of money or just the expenditure thing. So that could be the energy that, you might be feeling. You can also travel to long distances, like even foreign places. And there you might actually communicate with people, come in touch with different people and different cultural stuff and things like that. So that is also a great energy that can be seen during this month for you. And Mars and Rahu right now is in your 10th house. You're having a lot of your transits are sitting at really good places. Your sun is in a really good position. Now, when it comes to the house placement, your Mars is in a really good position because Mars and Rahu being in your 10th house is where Mars finds its maximum power. So you can clearly see that you can feel that your profession is getting invigorated. How you are being perceived by your superiors is going to get more positive because of because of the passion and because of the drive that you bring at work during this period of Mars and Rahu transit. And this is a great energy. You can also check out a video that I've made on the Mars and Rahu transit, where I exclusively discuss what this means for you. And this is a great transit for you for sure. Also, I can see that there's a retrograde Saturn in your 7th house. This can be a very conflicting energy because 7th house being the house of your romantic partnerships or even business partnerships can show that your focus right now is not on relationships. Your focus is sort of on yourself and, having fun and not being bogged down or being responsible or having this load of, just like unpleasant energy regarding being in partnerships, being in romantic relationships that are sort of not fulfilling you or not exactly where you want them to be. So that is a sort of energy that I can see, like a dissatisfaction regarding your partnerships and a sort of challenge regarding the smooth functioning of your romantic relationships or even a marriage, if that is the case. So that is there. And with Ketu in your 4th house, I think as a Cancer, your energy speaks a lot to the 4th house because it's the actual ruler of the 4th. It's the 4th sign of the zodiac and hence the ruler of the 4th house as well. So Ketu being present there can show that your relations with your family right now is not as great as you would like it to be. And there is some sort of discomfort regarding that whole relationship and equation that you have with work and home. Not work exactly, but like family and home. And that can be something which is further catalyzing you to move and focus more onto your work and, be able to flourish there more so, be able to direct your energy there. So that is also something that I can see here. And last but not the least, there's a retrograde Jupiter taking place in your 9th house. So, though this is a great placement, when it was not retrograde, because Jupiter in your ninth house is a great placement, because Jupiter itself is the ruler of the ninth house, or the ninth sign of Sagittarius, and also it has a fifth aspect straight onto your ascendant, which would be like you would be feeling lucky, and just like it's a great energy all around. But with the retrograde Jupiter, I can see that the sort of luck that you were feeling before, sort of you're not getting that feeling anymore, and this is by the end of the July transit that is happening. So you can sort of feel like my course of luck has run out, and you might not be actually able to easily transition into a long distance travel as well. Like if you want to take a travel to a long distance vacation for some place, an exotic destination or whatever, there might be some sort of challenge regarding that as well. So you need to be careful regarding your travel arrangements or whatever you're making and stuff like that. Also, if you are studying and doing some sort of postgraduate sort of degree or something, your interest in it or just can feel a little up and down. You might not be feeling as up about doing that course or whatever that decision is that you've made regarding the kind of education you would like to pursue. So that is also something that you might be feeling right now, in case you're pursuing any postgraduate degrees or further higher education. And yeah, that's the month of July for you. I feel it's a great month. You have a lot of great energy happening here, but there's just some sort of a little bit of a challenge with your partnerships, romantic partnerships and home and stuff like that. But all in all, it's a good energy for you and your own self betterment. So yeah, I hope you have a great month of July, especially also because it's your birthday. So yeah, enjoy yourself. And yeah, if you like something that you heard in this prediction or you resonate with something, then please do sound off in the comment section. I would love to hear what your aspirations for your month of July are. And yeah, thanks for watching. Wishing you a happy birthday once again. So for Leo, how the month of July is going to turn out for you. The first thing I can see is that your ascendant lord, which is Sun, is actually going 12 places away from itself in the 12th house, which I wouldn't necessarily say is the best thing possible, because 12th house is like the house of losses. It's the house of hospitalizations, even at times, having to go through like prison and stuff. So not saying that you would have to go to prison, but yeah, it doesn't really bode great stuff. Like it has a little challenging energy, the 12th house. So your ascendant lord being placed in the 12th house can show that there might be some sort of health scare that might be there, especially because I can see that the opposite energy directly in front of it, like on the axis, is the retrograde Saturn in your 6th house. So there might be some sort of health scare or some sort of health issue that might cause you to actually visit a hospital, like, or see a doctor just for a consultation. It might not be as big of an issue, but there's a possibility of it happening. So that is one of the first things. I'm sorry, maybe this is like not a great start to the prediction, but yeah, that is one thing that the first thing I saw. And then but a really great energy is the Mercury and Venus transit happening in your 11th house, so which can show that your friends and even your elder siblings can really help you and come forward. So your interactions with them are going to increase during this period, and you are going to feel extremely supported and loved by your peers, be it your colleagues, it may be anyone in your network circle, be it your friends, your colleagues, and even your elder siblings especially. So that sort of energy is also possible. You might also be able to catalyze your financial profits and actually be able to expand on your financial stability and stuff like that. So that is a great energy for you this month. Also, I see that Mars and Rahu is in your 9th house, which is a good thing. You can actually have some sort of travel, a long distance travel, and wanting to, actually explore, go out, have fun. And you might also be wanting to travel to a different culture, learn more about it, and stuff like that. So that energy is also good. Quite an adventurous sort of energy. It ties in with your Mercury Venus transit through your 11th house really well. So you might actually travel, get to know different sort of people, come in contact with them. So that is a great energy. So, which is good. Also, yeah, with the 9th house transit of Mars, I think you can also sort of see you becoming extremely protective about your religious or spiritual ideals. You might feel protective regarding that. And also, if you're studying and you're doing some sort of a higher education course or some sort of postgraduate degree or something like that, I think even at that time your vigor towards learning more, understanding further, your concentration can actually be enhanced during this period. So that is a great thing. But this can also mean that there might be some sort of rifts with your dad that you might actually be sort of feeling. The equation with your father might be a little hindered. There might be some sort of back and forth, some sort of just fight or whatever you can call it might be happening, some sort of disagreement, something like that. I've also made a separate video regarding how the Mars and Rahu energy is going to impact each and every sign, so you might also want to watch that, and it will be linked in the description box. Also, you will see it in the right hand side of the video screen, the I bar. You can definitely go there and check that. So, but this is the sort of energy that you can see when Mars and Rahu is in your 9th house. Now coming back to the energy that I briefly mentioned, which is the retrograde Saturn thing in your 6th house. So being a malefic, being placed in a malefic, like a Dushtana house, what this means is that Saturn is not like a positive planet. It's generally considered to be a negative planet. And the 6th house is also considered to be generally not a positive house. It's considered to have negative connotations of enemies, legal battles, health, diseases, stuff like that. So as we know, two negatives make a positive. The same sort of energy works here with astrology, because a negative planet being placed in a negative house has a good effect generally. So, and because Saturn is in its own sign of Capricorn, so we can definitely see some sort of, shielding of your health concerns that I had mentioned in the beginning of the video. It's not going to turn out as bad as it could have if that protection of Saturn was not there. But let's not forget, Saturn is still a malefic planet, so it is going to bring some sort of challenge regarding your health, and it can possibly also bring some sort of challenges with your work and your work colleagues. So you might have some sort of not liking the kind of work you're doing, not liking the sort of routine that you're having to follow because of the work or something like that. Those kind of things, that energy is also possible with Saturn in the 10th house. You can also have some sort of snitching happen. Snitching as in somebody like conspiring against you behind your back, sort of a thing, to who doesn't have your best interests at heart. So that can also be a possible energy, but you surely will be able to overcome that, because Saturn is present in your 6th house. It's going to protect you from that energy, but it's not going to stop that energy from happening. So that is also one thing that I can clearly see. Also, Ketu being present in your 3rd house, you can feel like your communication is a little dodgy. It's not as great as it used to be. You can feel even more private on your social media, and you might not be posting as much. So that is also energy. But the more pivotal energy here is the retrograde Jupiter that is going to happen in your 8th house. This sort of energy is going to make you move towards getting interested in occult subjects, like be it astrology, be it something like anything, like the things that people don't generally speak about. Those kind of occult subjects, you might actually get interested in getting to know more, learn more about it, and stuff like that. And it can also be a possibility that with all the traveling and with all the getting to know more people, your intimacy and the chances of getting intimate with different people might also be increased. So that is also a possibility. There could also be some sort of weird instances or some sort of sudden changes that are happening in your life right now, which might come out of the left field and you wouldn't have expected it to happen. So some sort of that energy is also there, but this is going to, in the longer run, be for your own benefit, because Jupiter is a positive planet. So it's not going to bring you some sort of energy without having for it to teach you some sort of lesson. So all in all, the month for you seems really great. There is some here and there regarding your health and your work and stuff, but I'm sure you'll be able to tide through it. And there's a lot of good energy regarding you actually traveling and being able to, just meet new people and have fun, sort of a thing. So yeah, I hope you have a great month ahead. And if you have something that you would like to share regarding your aspirations for the month of July, or if you resonated with anything that has been given as a prediction regarding your sign, then please sound off in the comment section. I would love to know more about it. And thank you for watching. So for Virgos, how the month of July is going to turn out. The first thing I see that your ascendant lord, which is Mercury, is transiting through your 10th house in the beginning of the month in conjunction with Venus. So this can clearly show that, your communication and your impression is really great at the beginning of the month with your superiors. So, cash in on that whole aura that you're exuding right now. It's a great omen for the impression that you're setting on to people. People are going to be impressed by you, and you're going to seem more likable and affable at work. And your communication is going to be really pleasant with your superiors during this period. This is not a long period, but yeah, the beginning part of the July. So you can definitely capitalize on that whole energy and equation. Then I see that it moves on to your 11th house with Mercury and Sun being there. And this can show a great further, expanding on that energy that all this good impression is actually having you make more money and giving you better financial gains, making you expand on your finances and the gains that you're having. So this is a great energy regarding that aspect as well. And you will be able to expand on your network circle, maybe gain something from them, from the network that you have, from your friends. So this is a great energy regarding that aspect. So your career and your friends and everything seems quite sorted. You're having quite a lot of fun regarding that aspect, and you're going to be in good books of people. I can see that you have a retrograde Saturn in your 5th house, right? And you also have a retrograde Jupiter in your 7th house. So why is this consequential? Is because the 5th house is, in astrology, is known as the house of romance, and the 7th house is the house of marriage and partnership. What this can denote is that you might be facing some sort of challenges regarding your romantic life. So be it if you're already in an alliance, already in a relationship, already married, and even if you are sort of on the quest of finding love and romance and excitement, it might be a little hindrance regarding that aspect. You might not really be able to to have it work according to how you would like it to. So that is something that I can see with these two planets being there in the 5th and 7th house. But if you're already in an existing marriage, this can sort of this can slow down the sort of good impact or the good energy that was happening in your relationship until now. It does not necessarily need to be something negative. This can just be a small roadblock and you having to just overcome something, and these kind of challenges can actually make you stronger if you work together with somebody. So that sort of energy can be prevalent during this period of time when the retrograde Jupiter is there in the 7th house. Now, when it comes to the retrograde Saturn in your 5th house, maybe be feeling a sense of disconnect from your creative side. If you have any creative endeavors that you do, you can feel a sort of slump or slowing down in that aspect. You can also see, if you have any children, that your relationship with them can be a little rocky during this period. You might also see that your children are facing some sort of challenges during this period, unfortunately. You need to also be careful regarding the kind of investments that you've made in risky ventures, let's say like cryptocurrency or the share market, because that might actually come to bite your ass. So, in the proverbial sense. So, you need to be careful regarding that and not to just keep pushing in your money into risky investments and stuff like that. And with the Mars and Rahu energy in your 8th house can actually show that because of the kind of challenges that you're facing with your romantic alliances and even your serious relationships, you can actually look around a little bit, and there's a possibility of you indulging in a greater amount of intimate interactions with people. And this can also be outside of the current establishment that you're in. Basically, I'm trying to say that you could cheat. But this is not like a end-all be-all sort of a prediction. It's not like I know what you're going to do, but there is a possibility of that as well. This can also simply mean that, because nothing seems to be working out, you're just like, I don't want to put all this intention and energy and effort into actually wanting to materialize something which is meaningful. I just want to have fun. That sort of thinking can also come into play, and, you working off with that energy and actually exploring, having fun, and doing that sort of stuff. It can be as simple as that as well. And in those interactions that you're having, the fun interactions, as we can call it, there might be some sort of violence or some sort of aspects that could be taking place. So you need to be careful regarding that. If that is something that, is not your preference, something you haven't consented for. I expand more on this energy in another video that I've done recently. And you can see that being linked in the description box. You will also see it being mentioned in the top right side of the screen, the I bar. So you can click on that and watch that after you finish watching this prediction for the month of July. And yeah, that is like the major energy that I'm seeing in your chart right now. So I hope you have a great month. Stay safe, have fun, enjoy, but be careful. And capitalize on that good impression that you're having, and materialize your financial gains and whatever you would like to achieve. So I hope you have a great month ahead. And if you have anything that you would like to comment on what your aspirations for the month of July are, or there is something in the prediction that sort of resonated with you, I would love to hear about that in the comment section. Please do leave a comment regarding that, and have a great month, and thank you for watching. For Libra, how the month of July is going to turn out, the very first thing I see is that you're having a Mercury-Venus conjunction in the 9th house, which is a great thing. So this can actually mean that you travel to some faraway place and have some fun, make some new connections. Maybe you even find love on this trip. This can be a huge possibility. So plan that trip. It might actually work out really well for you. And then we see that, also you can get on this trip and learn a lot about other people, different cultures. You can also be taking this trip possibly to maybe discover your religious identity, your ideals with the religion, beliefs and stuff like that. That's also a possibility. So all in all, travel seems like a really good idea for you right now. Also, this transit that further goes into with Mercury being in your 10th house and also Sun is a great energy. So you might actually be feeling that your connection and communication with your subordinates is working really well during this period in July of the transit, and you can be optimizing on this energy really well, because you can be held really responsible. You can be considered a very reliable asset by your superiors. So all in all, for your work, this seems like a really great energy. Also, with the retrograde Jupiter being in the 6th house, Though you might have been feeling lucky until now with the work area, but the retrograde thing, motion of the planet of Jupiter can cause a little bit of issues with your colleagues. So even though you might be actually enjoying to be in the good books of your superiors, it might not really go well with your colleagues and the people that you work with, which can cause you a little bit of trouble. It can actually have people conspire against you behind your back and stuff like that. So just be a little careful regarding that sort of energy. Don't boast about, oh, I'm the favorite. Don't do that. I don't think that energy is going to really serve you well during this month. So be careful regarding that. Also, your retrograde Saturn is in your fourth house. So this can show that there might be some sort of challenges with regards to your family, with regards to your home, that you might be facing, maybe even with your dad, some sort of equation, maybe some sort of decision regarding your home or family can actually cause a sort of uncomfortable equation, right? So that can also be a possibility. And with Mars and Rahu being present in your seventh house, okay, so I speak about this energy exclusively in another video, which I will link in the description box. Also, you can check that out in the right hand side, upper right hand side of the video, in the I button. You can check that out once you look at your prediction for this month. But this sort of energy basically translates into some sort of rifts taking place in your relationship. It can be good when it comes to the physical intimacy and that sort of a vibe with your partner. This can serve as a really good energy. You can feel some sort of uptake in that activity and stuff like that. But it's not a really conducive energy for a sign like you, because as a Libran, you would like to have everything peaceful, everything, just like your relationships are really important to you. So this sort of energy in your seventh house doesn't bode really well for your sign, because this could show that there is some sort of, fights or some sort of disagreements that are taking place right now. So also because of Ketu being present in your first house of self, it kind of shows that dichotomy and that sort of struggle that you're having to face when it comes to your self-identity and your relationships and how much you give to your relationships. So that sort of struggle can be possible, which might be amplified during this month. All in all, the month seems good for you. There are some aspects which are great, like your professional stuff. Even for travel, this is a great month for you. And you just need to be a little careful regarding your romantic relationships and the sort of relationship and equation that you have with your colleagues and your family. So just be a little wary of that and focus on yourself. You need to be your first priority, and don't let go of that just because you want to create a harmonious environment for your relationships does not mean that you become not your first priority. So yeah, all in all, a good month for you. Capitalize on that energy with your superiors in the beginning of the month. Seems like a great omen for you to scale professionally. And yeah, I hope you have a great month ahead. And if there's anything in the prediction that resonated with you, or you would like to share what your aspirations for the month of July are, I would love to hear about them. Please sound off in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. So for Scorpios, how the month of July is going to turn out, the very first thing I can see is that you're having a Mercury-Venus conjunction in the 8th house and in the beginning of the month. And this sort of energy is very similar to your ascendant energy, because the 8th house is similar energies to the 8th sign of Scorpio. So I think you could be in some sort of romantic alliances which sort of you want to keep on the low, basically secretive about some sort of interests that you have, some sort of love connections that you formed. There might be some sort of secrets that might be there in communication with your partner that you have to be careful about, because you don't like secrets. So yeah, better not to keep them or let them fester. So there's some sort of possibility regarding that whole thing. Also, On a positive note, it could mean that your communication with your partner actually sort of uptakes. It becomes better, more intimate. You're able to have, more fun with your intimate connections and stuff like that. So that's also a possibility. And as this Mercury moves ahead into your ninth house, and with the sun also being there, this can show that your relationship with your father and your communication with him can actually become better. You might also feel the need to travel to far off distances, or just like a long distance travel, to be able to just feel nourished or fulfilled and stuff like that. So that is also a possibility. Also, if you're studying and you're pursuing some sort of higher education or some sort of postgraduate degree, this can also have a good omen for you having really good concentration, being able to communicate your ideas effectively, and being able to concentrate better on your course and stuff like that. So it's a positive energy again for you. Now, when it comes to a little challenging energy for you, I can see is that your ascendant ruler, which is Mars, because Mars rules the sign of Scorpio, is present 6 places away from itself in the 6th house, in conjunction with Rahu. And I speak about this energy of Mars and Rahu conjunction exclusively in a recent video that I've posted. You can see that being linked in the comment section, or you can also check it out on the right hand side, upper right hand side of the video, the I bar. You can click on that and watch that video as well after you're done watching the predictions for your month of July. But in brief, I would say that this Mars and Rahu conjunction in your 6th house isn't exactly the best of circumstances for you, because it's also opposed by the energy of Ketu being there in the 12th house. So you might actually be feeling some sort of health issues right now. You might also have to actually possibly visit the doctor or get into a hospital during this period of the Mars and Rahu transit, which happens until the beginning of August almost. So you need to be careful regarding that, especially your health issues and your gut health issues and digestive system and stuff like that. So you need to be careful regarding that especially. And this energy can also fester into some sort of disagreements and fights that are happening at your workplace with your colleagues or something like that. It can also lead you to have some sort of legal issues and legal troubles and fights as well. So this sort of 6th house thing is not really a great omen for you. You need to be careful regarding that. On the other hand, I can see that your Saturn is right now retrograde in your 3rd house. So Saturn is a malefic planet. Its effect is generally considered to be negative, and the 3rd house is also considered not like a positive place, but it's a Upacha house, which means it gets better with time. And the 3rd house basically is like a place for your self-efforts, is a place for your determination, is a place for fun. Though you might not be feeling as fun and whatever wonderful about certain things, but I think during this period with Saturn being there in your 3rd house, though your communication can take a little bit of a backseat, you might not feel as communicatively. But though the sign of Scorpio is not really communicative with everyone anyway. Sorry for the shade, but it's true. So yeah, so your communication can take a little bit of a backseat, but it can also manifest into a greater energy when it comes to your own self-efforts. There might be some sort of doubt, some sort of fear regarding feeling that sort of adequacy regarding your own self-efforts, regarding how much you can achieve. But the energy will be able to guide you through to be able to maximize your output and work regarding that. So that is also something that you can see with the retrograde Saturn being there. Also, if you have any siblings, especially younger siblings, your relationship with them can be a little tumultuous during this period of retrograde Saturn being there. You can have some miscommunications, misunderstandings that can cause some sort of distances between you and your siblings. Also, lastly, I see that you are having a retrograde Jupiter in the 5th house. Now, if you have any relationships, which I sort of spoke about in the beginning with the Mercury-Venus sort of transit happening in the 8th house, I can see the same tangential thing happening with your fifth house, because fifth house is the house of romance, right? And Jupiter is generally a benefic planet, so it should be a good thing. But because it's retrograde right now and the motion is opposite to what it should be, it's not going to be really easy. So for you to actually communicate your intentions, be able to form like a serious relationship is not exactly the right time for you right now. You might face some sort of difficulties in communicating what your intentions are exactly, being able to understand what the intentions of your partner are, being able to actually work on or put efforts into manifesting a serious, more conventional sort of relationship is going to be a little harder for you during this period. Also, if you are a little advanced in your journey and you're already married, and let's say you're planning for a kid or something of that sort, that journey is also going to be a little difficult for you, because the fifth house is also the house of children. So the whole conception and the journey of conception might be a little challenging right now. This is not necessary, but this is a possibility. So you need to be just aware of that as well. And yeah, that is all in all your whole energy for the month of July. I really hope you have a great month. Please be aware of your health, be safe, be cautious, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. For Sagittarians, how the month of July is going to turn out, the very first thing I see is that you're having a great conjunction of Mercury and Venus energy in your seventh house. This is a great energy for you. Like if you are in a relationship, or you have been wanting to be in a serious relationship, or you're married, this is a great energy for you. Like you can feel extremely connected with your partner during this time. You can feel that your communication is exactly on the same surface. Like you can feel connected communication wise. Like you can feel that, okay, what I'm saying is exactly how the other person is interpreting it. That whole thing, your love and stuff is going to, magnify during this period. You're going to feel extremely connected and wonderfully in love, and all in all positive energy regarding your romantic alliances and romantic relationships. Also, then this further goes into your eighth house, and this again is not necessarily bad, but yeah, you can kind of get more indulged into the physical plane of your relationship, wherein the intimacy and stuff like that can actually be expressed more. You might actually feel more geared or satisfied by that sort of a thing. That can also be a thing. You might actually end up trying some new things regarding that whole realm. That is also a possibility. Also, this energy is further amplified with your Mars and Rahu transit in your fifth house. I speak about this conjunction specifically in a recent video that I've made, and I will be linking that down in the description box. You can also check that out by clicking the I button on the top right hand side of the video. And this energy basically for you ties into the whole thing that I've been discussing until now, which is you can feel invigorated and sort of very physically aligned with your partner, and the intimacy connections with your partner can actually become very, very much aligned and better during this period and of the transit during the month of July. And that's a really great energy. But you can also you have to be careful regarding your desires and keeping that in check, because it can turn south. So just be careful regarding that. Don't keep secrets, and don't indulge into any questionable sort of activities. That's also a sort of possibility that the eighth house conjunction and fifth house conjunction can bring. So you need to be a little careful regarding that. So your ascendant lord, which is Jupiter, as the Sagittarius sign is ruled by the planet of Jupiter, I can see that it is going retrograde in your fourth house. So it's going to pose some sort of challenges with your equation regarding your family, with the equations regarding your home. Like if you have been investing in a home and maybe let's say you're building it or something like that, there can be some sort of challenges regarding the completion of that project, or just the equation that you have with your family during this period. So you need to be careful regarding like that sort of an equation. And even though your focus seems to be on family and stuff like that, but there can be some challenges regarding that as well. Another significant energy that I see is your Saturn being retrograde in your second house. also your Ketu is in your 11th house. Now, why did I talk about these two planets together is because the second house and the 11th house are the houses of finances in astrology. Your second house deals with your fixed assets and your financial security, while the 11th house deals with your financial and monetary benefits and gains and stuff like that. And Saturn and Ketu being malefic planets in your houses of finances doesn't really bode good news. So you need to be careful regarding how you're spending your money. Also because, I see that the Mars and Rahu conjunction is happening in your 5th house. So you might be going crazy with your investments in riskier assets like, let's say, cryptocurrency or the share market and stuff like that. So you need to be wary of how you are investing your money, how you are looking at your portfolio, what is happening with your money. You need to be a little careful regarding that, because the omens regarding those things are not really positive. So just be a little careful. Just slow down on the risky investments and kind of reevaluate how you would like to have a fixed income, how you would like to secure your finances and stuff like that. And this sort of feeling, this sort of communication can also bring some sort of rifts with your family. The whole equation with your family doesn't seem to be really great, because the second house and the 4th house have some similar energies regarding family and family values. So both the retrograde planets being present there can cause some sort of challenges with your family during this transit of Saturn and of Jupiter as well. So even though this month seems to be really great for your romantic alliances, you need to be careful regarding your finances and how you're dealing with that, as well as your relationship with your family, because these two things are kind of sticking out to be a little challenging for you during this month especially, but also after it, because the retrograde Saturn and retrograde Jupiter and even the Ketu transit is happening way beyond this month itself, because these are the slower moving planets, so their transits stay on for longer. So these themes are going to stay on longer for you. So be wary of that, be a little careful, enjoy your romantic alliances, have fun. I hope you have a great month ahead. If you found any relevance with the predictions that I've shared for you this month, or you have any aspirations that you would like to share for the month of July, I would love to hear you sound off in the comment section. And thank you for watching. So for Capricorns, how the month of July is going to turn out, the very first thing I see is that you're having a retrograde Saturn happening smack dab at your 1st house. The transit is going to be very consequential for you, because Saturn is the ruler of your ascendant sign Capricorn. So this is really going to impact your health, your overall well-being, how you kind of view yourself, your self-image. You might be having some sort of doubts, some sort of fears regarding those sort of realms of self-doubt, of things like that might be creeping in right now. You need to be a little careful regarding that, and about your health as well, because you are also having, though it's a positive planet transit in your 6th house, but still I would say, because the 1st house and your ascendant Taurus is a very consequential thing, so be a little careful regarding your health as well. You are also having your Mercury and Venus conjunction in the beginning of the month happening in your 6th house, which can show that your relationships at work with your colleagues can actually be good. It can be very pleasant. Your communication with them is going to be extremely positive. This can mean like you will have some sort of positive connotation regarding your workplace. You might be feeling a little satisfied, a little settled with how your relationships at work are. This Mercury energy and then further goes into your 7th house, and this gets conjunct your Sun as well. So this energy basically bodes the whole fact that you might actually take these really good relationships at work and actually be able to catapult that into your business. If you have a business, and you'll be able to maximize on your profits, be able to work better with people in your business. So that energy is also there. Be able to communicate better with the people that you work and you work for. So this sort of energy is also possible. But being the sign that is closely related to work and proficiency of work, you're having a really difficult sort of relationship with work and how you kind of view your satisfaction at work, how you feel about your contribution at work because of the Ketu transit that is happening in your 10th house. So a little bit of a dissatisfaction with maybe even your higher ups, your superiors can be possible right now. You might be actually getting better along with your colleagues and the people of your same stature rather than the higher ups and the people who are in charge basically. So that sort of energy is also possible. I see that you have a Mars and Rahu conjunction happening in your 4th house, and I specifically speak about this conjunction in a separate video which I have recently published. You can watch that. I will be mentioning that in the comment section. You can also see it being linked in the upper right hand side of the video screen, the I button. You can click on that and watch that video once you're done watching the July predictions, and it will give you a greater instinct and aspect into what this energy will basically mean for you. But the gist of it is your dissatisfaction with work is going to move you further towards having your interests and having your efforts be aligned with making sure your family and your home is protected, and your energy is going to be more focused onto that. But this is also going to make the possibility of you having rifts within your family regarding anything. Also, the possibility of some sort of property issues arising is also a possibility as well. So you need to be careful regarding these things. And last and not the least, you have a retrograde Jupiter that is happening in the 3rd house. So this can show that your relationship with your siblings is also going to be a little tumultuous. And this kind of plays into the whole feeling of the fights at home, maybe regarding the joint property of some sort, regarding a property, regarding something, maybe a possible, even you can say like a distribution regarding something, some sort of property related dalliance with family, and having issues come up with your siblings regarding that is a possibility. And you can feel a little challenging when it comes to being able to enterprise, being able to actually work on your business, being able to market your business really well. That is also going to be a little challenging for you right now. So these kind of things are possible. I wouldn't say it's like a wonderful month for you, but nonetheless, you can make it work. If someone can make it work, it's you, Capricorns. And I hope you really do. Work on the energy that you're getting with your colleagues, the good sort of omen that you're getting, the energy of, working well, having good communication with them, making that work for your business is going to really work in your favor. So concentrate on that and work on everything else. I hope you have a good month. And thank you for watching. If you have anything that you find relevance with whatever I've spoken about you and the predictions for your month in July, or you just want to share what your aspirations for the month of July are, please sound off in the comment section. I would love to read that. Thank you for watching. For Aquarius, how the month of July is going to turn out for you, the very first thing I see is that you are having a retrograde Saturn transit in your 12th house, and Saturn being the ruler of your ascendant sign, Aquarius, because Saturn rules the sign of Aquarius, it doesn't really bode a great omen, since 12th house is a house of losses, and Saturn being there does not exactly, and your ascendant lord especially being there, doesn't bode really great news. So yeah, you need to be a little careful regarding having any possible hospitalizations or any visits to the doctor regarding any health issues or stuff like that. Please be careful regarding that. On a positive note, you also have a Mercury-Venus conjunction happening. This energy is really positive in your 5th house. So you might actually be feeling really invigorated in your romantic relationships. Your romantic alliances may be working out really well. You might be feeling extremely connected and in love. Also, if you are more advanced and you've been married and have kids and stuff like that, or whatever, just have kids generally, you can feel like your relationship with your kids is going to turn out really good during this period of July, and is going to work out really well. And even the life of your children is going to actually become a little better. So yeah, that's a good omen for sure. You can also maybe make money with some sort of investment that you've made into risky sort of investments, be it cryptocurrency or the share market. So that can also give you some sort of chunk of money. Maybe you're taking out some money out of it or whatever, but that's also energy that is being presented in your 5th house. And then once Mercury moves into your 6th house with Sun, this can show that you are kind of becoming a leader of other colleagues at work right now. Like, people are actually listening to what you have to say. Your authority is conceded to. The amount of work that you put in and the productivity that you have is really being appreciated and communicated for, which is basically leading to a good dynamic with your colleagues. So it's a good energy all in all. And you are also having a retrograde Jupiter in your 2nd house. So this can also show that there is some sort of challenges regarding your equation with your family right now. You can also be struggling with some sort of eating disorders. This is like a trigger warning. I hope this doesn't like upset you, but there might be some sort of disturbances with your eating cycle that can be causing you to, not feel great or just not feel great in health or whatever. So you need to be a little careful regarding that. Also, you can feel like your communications are not exactly being, like, people are misunderstanding what you want to say. So your words might be misconstrued during this period. So you need to be careful about being extremely open and clear about your communication. And that is further substantiated and justified by the Mars and Rahu conjunction in your 3rd house. I speak about this conjunction specifically and solely in a video that I've recently released. You can watch that as well to understand more about how this conjunction is going to work out for you. I will be linking that video down in the comment section. Also, you can check that out by clicking the right hand side of the video. Once you watch the predictions for your month of July, you can also check that out if you would like to. But that energy is also again saying that, your the way you're communicating is going to be a little harsh, and that might be causing you some sort of trouble with your family. So you need to be a little careful regarding that. But this sort of Mars energy can actually help you enterprise better. So your self efforts, you might be feeling extremely invigorated. You might be feeling extremely self assured about the efforts that you put in, about your productivity, which I can further see that, with the Mercury Sun thing happening conjunction in your 6th house might actually be working out in your favor. So it's a good and bad thing. Like, there's a flip side to everything. You might be feeling good about your productivity and the efforts you put into your work. So that is a good energy as well. But when it comes to the Ketu's transit through your 9th house, you can see some sort of challenges with how you're relating to your religious identity, how you're able to make peace with your beliefs, be it religious, be it spiritual, whatever that is. Also, if you are a student who has been studying for a higher education, getting the higher education or a postgrad or some sort of that stuff, you might be feeling a little disoriented. You might not be feeling as great about it. Or if you want to do that, there might be some challenges regarding that whole process. So you have to be careful regarding that. Any sort of long distance travels, if you've planned, please don't, because it's going to give you a lot of headache. Also, because Saturn is in the 12th house as well, that too retrograde. So you need to be a little careful regarding that as well. Any long-term travel plans, you need to be careful. So there might be some sort of challenges regarding that you might face. So all in all, the month is good for you. Like, I see a lot of good energy when it comes to work and stuff. And even, let's say, for your romantic relationships, you just need to be careful regarding any possible health scares or something of that sort, and just be aware of the fact that, how your words can be misconstrued, and this might cause you an issue with your family. But all in all, a good month for you. If there's anything that you feel, was relevant to whatever predictions that were shared on this video, then please sound off in the comment section. And if there's even any sort of aspirations for your month of July that you would like to share, I would love to hear about them. Thank you for watching. For Pisces, how the month of July is going to turn out for you. The very first thing I see is that your ascendant lord, which is Jupiter, is right now in a retrograde motion through your first house itself. So this is not a really great transit for you, I would say, because ascendant lord transits are extremely pivotal, and being in the retrograde motion in your own first house can show that you are having some sort of self doubts about your identity, about maybe even sometimes it could mean your appearance as well, and just like self doubt in general, like you don't feel like yourself, sort of a feeling. So that can creep up on you. You also need to be a little careful regarding your health, because first house, house of self, and the ascendant lord being retrograde kind of doesn't bode a really good omen for that. So be a little wary about your health as well. And a good transit for you would be the Mercury Venus transit that happens in your fourth house, which is a great omen. You can feel that you are having a great communication with your family. You're on the same page with them. Your communication feels great. And you're able to reconcile with everything that they're saying. You're on the same page, harmonious relationships. So all a walk in the field sort of a relationship. Really great transit. Also then this energy further translates into your fifth house. So you might be feeling this sort of that in your relationships you might be feeling invigorated. Your communication in your relationship, romantic relationships, I mean, because the fifth house shows your romantic relationships might actually become better. So you might be able to communicate better with your partner, be able to be on the same page, have a great romantic connection with them. So that for sure is a possibility with the Mercury and Sun transit in your fifth house. You can also see that maybe your subordinates are able to notice you more, and that sort of energy is bringing you a little more self-assuredness than the general doubt that you're facing right now. So that is also a possibility. The retrograde Saturn happening in your 11th house. So you need to be careful regarding how you're wanting to capitalize on gaining money at this point, because a lot of your houses in astrology that are relating to finances are getting impacted here, because the 11th house in astrology is your house of your financial gains, good financial gains, exponential financial gains. Then your fifth house is a house of your risky investments, your, let's say, investments in crypto, investments in share markets, stuff like that, mutual funds, things like that, which come with a little more risk in general. And you're also having a Mars and Rahu transit that is happening in your second house of your financial stability, secured finances, and stuff like that. So I speak about this conjunction of Mars and Rahu specifically in a video that I've recently released. I would be keeping that in the description box. You can also check that by clicking the I bar on the top right hand side of the video screen, and that will take you to the video. You can watch that once you're done watching the July prediction video, which is this one, and you can further understand what this energy means for you. But because of these houses getting energized at this point, I feel like you need to be a little careful regarding how you want to maximize on your profits, on your money making ability, on being able to maximize on your financial profits. You need to be a little careful regarding that, because that might not be exactly how you would like to go about it. So you might be a little more risk positive right now at this point, wherein you can maybe lose a little bit more money than you would want to or would like to. So be a little careful regarding that, and just play it a little safe, because with the second house Mars and Rahu transit, you can make a little dilly-dally investments that can cause you to get your finances hurt, your security to be hurt, financial security. So be a little careful regarding what investments you're making, and don't get influenced just because of XYZ making these decisions, so you will have to make them too, just because sometimes we might feel insecure and we might feel, okay, this is what might make me feel better. Whatever it is, just be careful regarding your finances. And the sort of same energy is being amplified with the Ketu's transit in your 8th house, which can show that there might be some unexpected ups and downs, weird sort of occurrences happening, and this can cause you to feel a little disoriented at this point. Like, you might not be expecting certain changes to happen, and that might take place, so you need to be a little careful regarding that. So all in all, I would say, sorry to say, it's not a really positive transit for you, but being an optimistic sign of Pisces, who are very, the glass is half full sort of a mentality, I really hope that keeps intact and you're able to weather through all of the challenges that are being put in your path right now. I hope you are able to go through them, learn from whatever you need to learn, and move ahead. And I hope you have a great month, and thank you for watching. If there's anything that you would like to share about your aspirations for the month of July, or even simply you resonate with something that has been spoken regarding the prediction for your month, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Please sound off and share your experience. And thank you for watching. And with this, I come to the end of this video. This was quite an impromptu sort of a recording. I did not plan, I did not script it. I just straight up went, checked the transits, and started to understand how it came to me, what energy I felt in your chart, and that's how I just went with it. I'm sorry if there's any sort of discrepancies in the audio, but everything that I've shared is on point. I hope you found some sort of relevance with whatever information is shared. I hope you all have a great month of July. You're all spiritually protected by the higher energies. If you like what you hear and you would like to support this channel, I would love to have you as a member. So please subscribe and click the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can join this community and we can reach further and farther astrology community. Thank you, and I will see you soon with the next video. Until then, take care, you all.